Kwanzaa by A.P. Porter, illustrations by Janice Lee Porter. Kwanzaa by A.P. Porter, pictures by Janice Lee Porter. Table of contents. New words. 4. Kwanzaa. 6. Lunuzo Saba. 54. What you need to celebrate Kwanzaa. 56. New words. Author's note. Kwanzaa is an African American holiday. Many of the words used at Kwanzaa time come from Swahili, also called Kiswahili, an African language. Each Swahili word is printed in bold, typed the first time it comes up in the story. Bendera, a flag for African Americans. Habari gani, what's new? Harambe, let's pull together. Imani, believing in yourself. Karamu, the feast. Kikombe cha umoja, the cup of togetherness. Kinara, the candle holder. Kujikagulia, acting and speaking for yourself. Kumba, thinking of new ways to do things. Kwanzaa, an African American holiday from the phrase ya Kwanzaa, which means first. Kwanzaa yenu iwe na heri. May your Kwanzaa be happy. Mazao, the fruits and vegetables. Mishuma Saba, the 7 candles. Mukeka, the placemat. Muhindi, the corn. Nuzo Saba, the 7 reasons or principles behind Kwanzaa. Nia, having a reason or purpose for doing what you do. Swahili, also called Kishawahili, a language of East Africa. Ujama, going to each other to buy services and to buy things. Ujima, working together. Umoja, staying together or unity. Zawadi, the gifts. Kwanzaa is an African American holiday. Kwanzaa honors Black people and their history. An African American teacher named Maulana Karenga created Kwanzaa in 1966. Dr. Karenga wanted to teach his people about their history. He wanted to teach them about African ways and holidays. He created Kwanzaa to remind his people of their African beginnings. African American history is older than the United States. In the 1600s, white people forced Africans to go to North America as slaves. Those African slaves are the ancestors of most Black Americans. Slaves are people who are owned by other people. Slave owners can do anything they want to their slaves. They can beat them, they can make them work, they can kill them. For 200 years, most African Americans were slaves. Slaves in America became free in 1863. The laws said freed slaves could do whatever they wanted, but Black Americans did not have the same rights as other Americans. African Americans could live only near the other Black people. They could go to school only with other Black people. They could go to church only with other Black people. They could be buried only with other Black people. In the 1900s, a leader of Black people named Marcus Garvey created a flag, the Bandera. The black bar in the center stands for Black people staying together. Red is for their long struggle for fairness and freedom. Green stands for the future. When Dr. Karenga created Kwanzaa, he remembered the Bandera and what it meant. At Kwanzaa time, African Americans think about their people, their struggles, and their future. Kwanzaa lasts for 7 days, from December 26th to January 1st. African Americans start to get ready for Kwanzaa early in December. They gather together the 7 symbols of Kwanzaa. A symbol is something that stands for something else. The first symbol is a makeka, or placemat. The makeka may be an African mat. It can even be made by hand from strips of cloth or paper. The makeka is a symbol of history. Today stands on yesterday, the way the other symbols stand on the makeka. A big cup, the kikombe cha umoja, is a symbol of staying together. Everyone sips juice or wine from the kikombe at Kwanzaa time. People also put mazao, or fruits and vegetables, on the makeka. Mazao stands for the harvest and for all work. When African Americans put fruits and vegetables on the makeka, they honor themselves and their work. The muhindi, or corn, stands for children. A family puts 1 ear of corn on the makeka for each child. But even if there are no children, people have muhindi on the makeka. The kinara, or candle holder, is the heart of Kwanzaa setting. The kinara stands for people who lived many years in Africa. Africans hold up African Americans just as the kinara holds candles. The kinara's 7 candles are called the Mishuma Saba. Candles light the way. A black candle is in the center. 3 red candles are on the left, and 3 green candles on the right. The zawadi, or gifts, are the last Kwanzaa symbols. Zawadi are for the children. Zawadi are rewards for promises kept during the year. When all of the symbols are ready, it's time to decorate. Kwanzaa decorations are mostly black, red, and green, the colors of the bandera and the Mishuma Saba. Sometimes people put a bandera on the wall nearby. They put the makeka on a low table. Then they arrange the kikombe, mazao, muhindi, kinara, and Mishuma Saba on the makeka. The zawadi are placed off to the side until later. Kwanzaa is especially for children. On the first day of Kwanzaa, a child lights the black candle in the center of the kinara. 1 more candle is lit each day, starting with the red candle and then the green candle, closest to the center. When the day's candles are lit, the child talks about one of the reasons for Kwanzaa. In Swahili, these reasons are called nguzo saba, the 7 principles. A principle is a reason for being. The nguzo saba are goals for African Americans to strive for. On each day of Kwanzaa, children talk about one of the 7 principles. Many people put a copy of the nguzo saba on the wall at Kwanzaa time. The nguzo saba are written out at the end of this book. During Kwanzaa, people greet each other in Swahili. They say, "Habari gani?" What's the news? The answer is the principle for that day. So on the first day, the answer to Habari gani is umoja. Umoja means unity. Unity is staying together. A child lights the black candle in the center of the kinara. Starting with the oldest people, everybody sips from the kikombe. Then the child who lit the candle talks about the umoja means. Slave owners seldom let slave families stay together. Slaves could be sold or sent away at any time. Many children did not know their parents or sisters or brothers. They did not feel a part of anything except slavery. Many African Americans are still not part of a community. People who work, live, and build a future together create a community. A strong community is the reward for people who practice umoja. Habari gani? Someone asked. On the second day of Kwanzaa, the answer is Kuchikagulia. For African Americans, Kuchikagulia is saying who they are and who they will be. A child lights a black candle and a red candle for struggle. Then the child talks of Kuchikagulia. As slaves, African Americans had no power. They could not name themselves. Their owners named them. They could not make decisions. Their owners decided for them. African Americans must act and speak for themselves, no matter what others may say. With Kuchikagulia, African Americans are no one's slaves. On the third day, friends say Habari Gani. Everyone responds Ujima. The chosen child lights the black candle, the red candle, and a green candle for the future. Then the child talks of Ujima, which means helping each other by working together. To African Americans, selfishness is wrong. To do better as a group, African Americans should work on their problems together. Ujima makes even a heavy load easy to carry. Someone asks, Habari Gani? On the fourth day of Kwanzaa, people say Ujama in reply. A child lights the first 3 candles and another red one. Ujama means buying from each other. African Americans buy most things from people who are not Black. Going to stores and clinics owned by Black people makes the African American community stronger. Ujama is sharing the wealth of all Black people. Habari Gani, the answer for the 5th day of Kwanzaa, is Nia. A child lights the first 4 candles and another green candle. Nia means purpose. The purpose of African Americans is to make their people great. Africa is very old. The world's first communities were African, but slavery made African Americans forget their past. At Kwanzaa time, Black Americans remember their past and their purpose, to make their people great. Habari Gani? On the 6th day of Kwanzaa, Kumba is the answer. A child lights the first 5 candles, then the last red one. Kumba means creativity. Creativity is thinking of new ways to do things. Alice Walker uses Kumba to write books. In Africa, people use Kumba to make their community strong, to make their world better. African Americans use their creativity too. The Karamu, or feast, is held on December 31st, the 6th day of Kwanzaa. The food is arranged on a big makeka in the middle of the floor. People help themselves. Everyone tries to bring some food to share, no matter how little. Some people have no food to bring, but no one cares. Everyone is welcome. Habari Gani. Imani is the answer on the last day of Kwanzaa. All of the candles are lit in order, ending with the last green candle. Imani means faith. Imani is believing in all African people. Some people hate African Americans. They think that Black Americans do not deserve the same rights as other Americans. But no matter what others may think, Black people must have Imani, faith in themselves. On the last day of Kwanzaa, each worthy child is given zawadi. After opening the gifts, everyone says, Harambe, 7 times. Harambe means to pull together near the end of the last day. Everyone drinks again from the kikombe. They remember Africans and African Americans who helped Black people. Sometimes they make a speech. May we live by the Inguzo Saba. May the year's end meet us laughing and stronger. And at the end of next year, may more of us sit together. May we achieve a better life. Kwanzaa teaches everyone about Africa and African culture. Kwanzaa is also about the history and future of African Americans. Kwanzaa can help all people understand African Americans, and it can help Black children understand themselves. At Kwanzaa time, Black people and their friends get together and remember, Kwanzaa yenu iwu na heri. May your Kwanzaa be happy. Inguzo saba, umoja, unity, to strive for and maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and race. Umoja means staying together. Kujigagulia, self-determination, to define ourselves, name ourselves, create for ourselves, and speak for ourselves, instead of being defined, named, created for, and spoken for by others. Kuchikagulia is saying who we are and who we will be, and not letting others say for us. Ujima, collecting work and responsibility, to build and maintain our community together and make our sisters and brothers' problems our problems, and to solve our problems together. Ujima means working together and helping each other. Ujama, cooperative economics, to build and maintain our own stores, shops, and other businesses, and to profit from them together. Ujama means buying from each other. But you need to celebrate Kwanzaa. The gifts and symbols of Kwanzaa don't need to cost a lot of money. The ideas matter, not the things. Kwanzaa is a young holiday, and it is celebrated differently in different parts of the country. Start with the basic list of ingredients, and your Kwanzaa celebration can become richer every year. Begin gathering things early in December, so you will be ready for the first day of Kwanzaa on December 26th. 1. A placemat, the makeka. You can buy an African mat or make one yourself from woven paper or cloth. 2. A cup, the kikombe cha umoja. Any large cup will do. 3. Fruits and vegetables, the mazao. Use apples, potatoes, oranges, all of the fruit and vegetables you like the best. 4. A candle holder, the kinara. Be sure there are spaces for 7 candles. 5. 7 candles, the mishuma saba. Any candles will do, but you will need 1 black candle, 3 red ones, and 3 green candles. 6. Corn, muhindi. Gather as many ears of corn as there are children at your Kwanzaa celebration. 7. Gifts, zawadi. Simple gifts are good. Zawadi need not be from a store. Books and handmade things are good Kwanzaa gifts. 8. The flag for African Americans, the bandera. If you don't have a bandera, be sure to decorate for Kwanzaa in the bandera's colors, red, black, and green. 9. A copy of the 7 Reasons for Kwanzaa, the Nguzo Saba. You will find the Nguzo Saba on pages 54 and 55 of this book. Use the Nguzo Saba in your Kwanzaa setting.